Welcome back to the Frizz and the Grizz podcast with your hosts, Prudo and D.
Welcome back to Frizz and the Grizz. It's your boy Trudeau, joined by the best co-host in the land, D Frizzy Frizz. What's up, buddy?
What's good, baby? I appreciate the introduction, man. I love hearing the best co-host. You the host. I'm just here to help, man. I'm here to put the smile on people's faces that watch us live, but they can't really see me when they listen the next day.
The best co-host I have as a podcaster right now, D Frizzy Frizz.
Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate
One
you.
of one. That's like, I don't know if that's a positive or just makes you like super unique, like 101 rare.
I mean, I'd rather just be the first of something, and if I'm the first or the best out of the only, I guess, position, then I guess I'm really good at it.
Absolutely. So May 23rd, I would like to come here and say it was a big week of basketball because we were hoping to really get into the meat of the conference finals this week. Last week when we started, actually, I was thinking back, like, all right, where were we last week when we met? And I think the Celtics and Heat hadn't even tipped off yet. Mm-hmm. They started the day after, and we were talking and recording the day of Game 1, Lakers Nuggets. Who would have thought we're recording 1 week later and pretty much these series seem like they're wrapped? But I don't want to say the Celtics are dead, but they're almost dead in the water at this point.
I just don't think either one of us expected either series to go this route. No. I mean, I know that I had my, Laker, purple teamers on by saying it was going to be Lakers in 6. I think I might have said. But yes. Good God, I said the Heat Celtics was going to go 7, and I still tipped the cap to the Celtics, and wow, we were way off with projections and with how this one was going to go.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think, Mick. I think today might be more like obituary style for some of these teams because we didn't get to talk about. We won't be able to talk about a prolonged series. Maybe we can now do an analysis of like what happened, what went wrong, some of these series. But it's Tuesday, man. I know it's not Monday, so your old catchphrase doesn't work as well. But give the people what they want.
Let's turn me up Tuesday.
Is that what we're going with now?
I mean, it's like Timmy Turner. It flows off the tongue. So why not?
So, yeah, thanks for y'all for being here live. We see you out in the audience. It's always appreciated to have some live viewers. And don't forget, podcasts will come out every Wednesday. So if you don't catch the whole show, get on that Frizz and the Grizz. Before we get started on the sports stuff, because we're going to talk, a lot of basketball today. Man, how was just your week in general? How's it going over there?
Week wasn't too bad. We're actually getting some really nice weather. I was able to jump into the pool at my in-laws' house. I don't know if it's pool weather for you guys quite yet. Or what's up?
Is it in ground or above ground?
In ground. Sorry, in ground. Yeah, bro. We no above ground pools here. But yeah, they have a really dope setup, and it was cool to again jumping into the pool in April, May time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something that I'm used to or accustomed to. But the weather's really nice. I'm pretty sure I'll get back out there on the golf course pretty soon. Week was straight, man. How was yours?
Just did some garden this weekend, right? Set up garden for the why are you laughing at garden, bro?
I don't got a green thumb. We have some plants that we spent like $300 on at Home Depot or Lowe's, and they're just like on the side of the house. I'm just like, this is incredible that's where our money went.
I'm out here growing vegetables.
Satisfy people that just drive by for a second.
No, I'm growing vegetables and fruit. So like when the world breaks down finally, and my ass will be sustained with some green beans and shit while you sit there with your flowers and
for about 3 weeks. That's as much as you'll be able to grow the resources.
Gardener, I would say about 2 days worth of food. This weekend my wife won some tickets to a concert. Went to a concert last night at the Garden. Was it last night? No, it was Sunday night. It's been a long week, my man.
Sure has. It's only 2 days.
Familiar with Blink 182?
Yeah, very long time ago. I remember those boys. That was like 90s, like early 2000s band, I feel like.
Early 2000s, yeah. So Blink 182 last night. And I will say, obviously, with Blink 182, you can imagine in Boston, the crowd was a sea of white people, right? And, last night I looked around at the crowd. We were pretty high up, so I could kind of get a good view of everyone in the crowd. And, I just looked around, shook my head like, yep. This is why everyone says white people can't dance.
This is Blink 182 that Say It Ain't So song.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like the only song that I feel like I know. Like you turn the lights off.
Carry Me Home.
Yeah, that's definitely like a a
It's
Boston
all the
drunk
small
bar
things.
song.
This
Yeah.
one.
Actually, was this a Rock Band song?
I think you're thinking of Lit.
Maybe.
This might have been a Rock Band, but yeah. So checked out Blink-182, and man, it was just like a level of awkwardness dancing to. I just don't feel you can really get down as a dance. Like you can maybe like do the head bob, but like people are just.
You got to do the Flintstone, like you literally just shake your shoulders.
Yes,
For those that can't
there
really
was a
watch,
lot
this
of
is
that.
all you
There
can
was a
really
lot of
do.
that.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed for my people last night. I will say that. So yeah, that was my weekend, watching white people dance awkwardly. All right, now what we're really here for.
Yeah, let's get down to it.
I have been waiting for 2 days now to come on this podcast because you are a Lakers fan, so I know you're not going to show any love for the Celtics. I wanted to come here today and tear down those fraudulent Boston Celtics. Mr. Jason Tatum, what was his humbly
One of the best
Okay,
players in the
you're
world.
humbly getting swept out of the playoffs. That's what you're doing, buddy. Unbelievable, man. Just I need to gather my thoughts. Right, I need to calm down. D, kick us off with the Celtics. Go wherever you want, man. Do your thing.
So the way that I see it as, I wasn't expecting it to be 3-0, right? And I know that the Heat are coming off playing really, really good defense. I think you even hit this on the head at the beginning of the playoffs. They're a very high variance team. They're either really good with shooting the three or they're really bad. And for the past 2.5, 3 weeks with the playoffs, they've been really good with shooting the three. And I don't think that Boston has expected this. What they've done is they've played down to the level of their competition and they've usually been able to get out of it. And Miami is waiting for them to do that. And they're like, we're better than you. And they punched them in the mouth early. I have never seen a team quit in an NBA game. Is like maybe goes back to game 6 of the game 7 of the Lakers Celtics in the finals when the Lakers just they'd lost by like 40. Like that was resemblance of it. And I was like, what are you guys even doing here if you're going to give this much of an effort in an elimination game?
I think like this whole series between the Celtics and Heat comes down to a couple words, but one of the biggest words to me is identity. And I don't want to give too much into the Heat because I will save my Heat thoughts for afterwards. But I think the Celtics seriously lack an identity. And I say that because you have two superstars, and I'm air quoting this word superstar, in Brown and Tatum. And you saw it I didn't watch game 3, I was at the concert. But in game 2, when they gave up that lead and they needed to stop runs and get buckets, what you saw from the Celtics is their star players got very tight and they started thinking way too much. They're like, hey, I'm Jason Tatum. We're the Boston Celtics. We should be winning. And when you start thinking and just stop playing basketball, bad things are going to happen. And that's when you see the turnovers from Brown, the bad shots from Tatum. And they don't have a guy on that team that can just take over and take control in the hardest of times and just calm down everybody. And as far as the full identity of the team, I mean, I'm the guy who's banging the drum to fire Missoula because the superstars can't do it themselves at this point. Like I don't trust Brown and Tatum to just when the shit hits the fan, they panic, right? And Coach Missoula is doing nothing to make it easy on their star players because I don't know if you heard on the broadcast, Chuck at halftime was like, they don't call plays. Like they're just like throwing the ball at Tatum Brown. And their whole team lacks an identity. They lack composure. And that it goes from the head coach to their star players. The only players I can really count is like right now, like it's crazy to say, like Marcus Smart is the closest thing they have to a leader, but he has to be your 4th or 5th best player in your team. Like their best players aren't leaders.
Yeah, that's a huge, huge problem. And I think, though, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's the reason, but I think one of the worst things that could have happened to this core was them making the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie 5 years ago, because that attitude has literally stuck with them year after year after year, that we're better than everybody. We can get here without help. And what they lost in all of that is a true leader to step up. Jason Tatum is one of the most gifted players in the NBA. And I know leaders are born, they're not necessarily grown, but you still have to take ownership and accountability of what's going on. You have to, as an all NBA player, look at this and be like, look, this is on me. I need to step up. I need to get Brown to play better. I need to get Smart to play better. I need to get Horford in spots where he can play better defense and in spot up shoot. And as Tatum's trying to do, he's trying to be a better shooter. He's trying to be a better playmaker, and he's trying to be a better defender. But that's all individual stuff. He's not doing the things that's trying to make his team better. And I think that's what's hurting them when it's your superstar that's playing second or third fiddle to, like you said, Marcus Smart, who's the voice on the team.
I trust Marcus Smart. He seems like in the action I've seen, the fact that he is almost seeing he sees the whole floor. He sees everything going on. He seems like he's in control of himself, even though he plays very reckless. He's in control of what's going on. Tatum and Brown they seem lost. And I wrote down on my paper, I like how you said the word superstar, because I put on my notes, I wrote Tatum fake superstar ? Because I think Tatum likes the idea of being a superstar. He likes the shoe commercials. He's on the Ruffles commercials. He's got sweet step back 3-point shots. He has all the cool, fun stuff in a superstar. But like when it's nut cutting time and you got to like be physical, get tough buckets, like drive and just be a man in those moments, he doesn't want that smoke. Like he there's stretches of games where he just disappears completely, right? And then when you think of his big moments in this playoffs, how did he get those buckets?
Go to the hoop.
How did he get them in game 6 in the fourth quarter against the Philadelphia 76ers?
Going to the hoop.
No, he was money from 3.
I think he's a lot more successful when he's driving, though. I know what you're saying, but yeah, go ahead.
When it's nut cutting time and he has to step up, it's not, I'm going to do that stuff and get the tough buckets in the paint, those buckets that you need to get in the playoffs. It's finesse. And like, I just think none of those dudes in the Celtics are the type of guys mentality that says, give me the ball, I'm taking it to the paint, I'm getting the bucket, I don't give a shit if I miss it, I'm doing this. Because that's the mentality on the other side. Jimmy Butler can take 100 shots and miss 100, and that dude's like, I don't care, I'm hitting 101, right? Unfazed. These Celtic superstars, man, I just don't think they got that killer instinct, it factor that you need in the playoffs. So when you play a killer like Jimmy Butler, you got to match that intensity. The only person on the Boston Celtics who showed an ounce of intensity was Grant Williams, and he got clowned for it afterwards. And then, you know what's the craziest thing? And you know how you know the Celtics were dead? Grant Williams gets into Jimmy Butler's face. Did you see what Grant Williams' teammates did?
Did they not back him up?
They didn't do shit. Malcolm Brogdon had a look of fear in his face, like, "Oh no, I'm scared for my life." None of these dudes in the Celtics,
they're not about that life. They're not about that.
Every single goddamn player in the Heat will shank you in a back alley if it means to win the game.
I get what you're saying, man. You want to, you want certain people to battle with. No, you're good. If you want people to battle with you on the court or on the field, as we talk about football, obviously we're
the Celtics are pretty boys, a bunch of pretty boys.
Yes,
who want to win tough.
This is essentially what I think you hit it right on the nail with that one. I mean, again, we're not going to talk about the Heat, but the Celtics, they all love the titles of what they're getting, being crowned the best team in the NBA, the best team in the East. They have the most talent. And when it's time to actually show up, like they continuously prove that they're not, because they play down to the level of their competition. And with it being the Heat, these guys are ready to punch you in the mouth. They don't care. It's a bunch of undrafted late round picks that they've had a chip on their shoulders their entire career. So like they're not handed to the NBA's finest, or like they're not the top players on their AAU team or going to Duke University playing for March Madness titles. They're the guys that get drafted late in the rounds and they say, hey, we got to make sure that I make this fucking team. And if I don't make this team, I don't get to feed my family. Like those are the people that I want in the doghouse. Those are the guys that you want that are going to show up every night. I think it was I think it was Windhorst that might have even said it. He's like, I know what I'm going to get from, it's weird to say, Max Strus. I know what I'm going to get from Duncan Robinson. I know what I'm going to get from Jimmy Butler. We do not know what we're going to get from Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown on a nightly basis. It's either 60 or it's 10 or it's 30 off of 30 shots. You just don't know. It's such a weird concept the way that they're playing right now.
Yeah, and the Celtics are a team where, like, when things are going good, it's going great, and they feel confident, and they got that swag. But, like, when things get tough, they just don't have it in them, man. And that brings me to my next question about the Celtics is, like, okay, going forward, now there's a whole ton of questions because there's two things to consider, right? You can lose, which is, like, people lose all the time. You'll lose in the playoffs, it's fine. But then there are losses that change fundamentally how you view your team and what you feel like your future is going to be. And right now, even if the Celtics win tonight and they lose in 5, this looks like an utter disaster. And I don't know if this like the way this roster is constructed now, you can just bring everyone back and hunky dory. So, like, what's going to change in your opinion? Like, if you had to crystal ball, what changes for the Celtics team going forward?
Everything. And that's not even just a broad.
That's vague.
What I'm saying. Well, let me tell you about this. I said it 2 weeks ago before I think the finale of the 76ers series. I was like, the Celtics could lose. They could lose the 76ers in 7 and they'll bring the team back. But they cannot lose to the Heat in 4 or 5, or it's like project failure, break down and remove everything, meaning you get rid of Brogdon. No, you keep Tatum, you keep Brogdon, you get rid of Smart, Horford, and Brown. And your core from 5 years ago is no longer together again. Like, that is what I think is going to happen if they lose. I said it. I said on Sunday they're going to win by 30, and then they didn't win by 30. They lost by 30. I get the same feeling, and I hate that I'm still a part of the ESPN stats that say the Heat don't have a chance of winning because it's the same shit. You're like, the Heat, the Celtics are the more talented team.
I'm done saying that. By the way,
I know, but like they cannot. But if they do, if they come out tonight and they get swept. This is, I believe, the last game you see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and possibly Al Horford in a Boston Celtics uniform.
That's a hot take. I'm going to play the sounder.
I like it.
No, honestly. So let's, on a realistic note, right? They'll sign Jaylen Brown, whether it's sign him and then send him off or they keep him long term. I'm actually questioning. I think changes have to be made. I agree with that. I'm questioning what they do with Mazzulla.
Coaching ain't enough, and coaching isn't the reason.
It's not the reason, but I think a couple things is true with Mazzulla. He's in over his head.
Yep.
I think that he is not ready to be a head coach. He's made time and time again mistakes, whether it's timeout strategically. And I think the one of the biggest problems is that I think his voice is not being heard in this team, which is the biggest red flag as a coach, because if you don't have people buying in, that's you can't win that way. And I did clip some sounds from the press conference after game 3. I was doing that for the show. And I just want you to hear the defeat in this man's voice. Like, this does not sound like a man that feels, I have 4 clips. This does not sound like a man who feels confident in being a leader and carrying the flag going forward.
Points.
Joe, the biggest game of the season, the game you had to have, and you guys just looked completely lost after the first 6 minutes. What exactly happened out there?
I just didn't have him ready to play.
That was just his answer. That's it.
You guys have been one of the best defensive teams for the last few years, really. Has some of that been lost? And tonight, what went into the Heat having so much success against?
I couldn't hear the second part.
And tonight, what went into the Heat having so much success against your defense?
Yeah, I think some of that defensive identity has been lost, and we have to get that back. And that's where, part of that is on me to make sure we get that back.
Joe.
And then I think I'll just play one more. I think this is the most damning of them.
Joe, in the third quarter particularly, you guys got down to 12 at one point. They came back for a run, and it seemed like there wasn't much fight after that.
How disappointing was it in your eyes, just from like the effort standpoint at that point of the game when things weren't going your guys' way, it seemed like?
Yeah, it's on me to be better for them so that they play harder.
Joe, I'm sorry, you keep saying it's on you, but can you be more specific? Was it the speech making? Was it the
Yeah,
plays?
I just didn't have them ready to play. I just didn't have execute the proper game plan. I didn't put them in the right mentality to be ready. And, you know, it's my job to make sure that they're connected and that they're ready to play, and I didn't do that.
So in the privacy of your locker room, were you too loud, not loud enough? I'm just looking for some.
I don't know. At the time, you think you say what needs to be said, but at the same time, I just have to be better. I got to make sure when we step on that floor that we're ready to execute, we're ready to be physical, we're ready to play harder than the other team. That's my job.
That just sounds like the dude is just not being heard. And
So hold on. Let me cut you off.
Yeah, go for it.
2 points I want to make real quick. First is a huge shout out to the producer of the Frizz and the Grizz podcast. Truda, you are doing some absolutely incredible things, and it might be just small for you saying this is just clips.
That took like 3 minutes.
But hear me out. What I'm saying is like just the innovation of being able to add public press release or public press conferences into the show. Like that's kudos to you, man. Like I appreciate what you do, you know, for us, for this show, and hopefully to share a better and bigger experience for the users, the people that are watching and listening to us live in the next day. Point two, I'm going to credit a lot of that he kind of answered, not being a really good, I would say, coach in the press conference. So I know what he's saying. He sounded very similar to how Nick Sirianni sounded when he was first interviewed, and people clowned on him for it. Like, oh, he's not ready to be a coach. He can't even answer press conference questions. I think it's more about that instead of what he's saying. I get where you're going to go with this, but like, I'm not going to rash on the dude for just saying what he's saying like that. But I understand what you mean.
Does that sound like a man who inspires confidence at this point?
No, but Nick Sirianni didn't either. He brought the Eagles to the fucking Super Bowl. I just understand this is the Super Bowl now, though.
Yeah, and the responses, the questions that are being asked is like, why aren't they responding to you? And you're just like, I don't know. I just got to have them ready. It sounds like I have no answer. Like, I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I'm trying.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I think he does know the answer. He knows it's the players, but he can't throw them under the bus. He 100% cannot say it's our superstars that are not showing up.
It's not on one, but I'm just saying one of my arguments has always been it's easier to replace a coach than a star player.
Facts.
And I'm not saying Mazzulla's a bad coach. I just don't think he's ready. And the Celtics have a window of this year, next year, maybe the year after to win. And maybe he's ready to be an awesome coach in 4 years, but then the Celtics might not have a roster at that point. So like, I think that the MA situation really handcuffed the Celtics. Their second choice ended up I forget the guy's name, but he ended up by taking the head coach job in Utah. Danny Ainge snagged him before.
Damon Stoudemire?
Yeah. So Danny Ainge snagged him. Their third assistant coach took a college head coach basketball job. I feel like Mazzulla was the last guy remaining. I'm sure they have high opinions. He just wasn't ready. He's 34, right?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, though. Weren't some of the Celtics players advocating for him to be the coach?
I'm sure they were at the time. But if you hear even like there was a lot of internal, apparently, and this is from Windhorse podcast.
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going.
There was a lot of internal turmoil about Rob Williams' role in this team. The guy who was pivotal for them last year. A lot of guys seem to have wanted Rob more involved in the offense, and Mazzulla likes that small ball, spread them out. It's, if you see comments from Tatum earlier in the year, he hinted at people on the team wanting more Rob Williams. He was reluctant to make that change. He finally made it to the end of last series. So I think when the season started, everything was hunky-dory, players, coach, kumbaya. But it's been a long season, and clearly there are some fractures there. Could it resolve in the offseason? Yes. Do I think he'll be fired? Probably not, because you just re-signed the man. But would I be surprised if he was fired? Nope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I think the problem stems much further than the coach. And if it's a move that has to be made, they make it. Does it fix their problems? No, unless Ime or some defensive stud of a coach is walking in the door the next year, because that's who's going to hold them accountable. And obviously, it's not going to be Udoka. So who the hell else is out there that's going to command respect out of this team? Like, I want to say these two because it is Brown and Tatum, but it's these players that think that they think their shit don't stink. Essentially, that's how they play, and it's ruining their window right now.
I would have liked a more veteran guy, a guy that I like as a name. I don't know how well he would fit. I've always been a big Nick Nurse fan from Toronto. Went to the finals with the Raptors. He has championship experience. He seems to be more of kind of in-your-face kind of disciplinarian, taskmaster coach. So maybe someone like that, someone closer to Ime's build with as far as demanding results would be better. I don't know. I just have one more thing before we move off the Celtics, right? I wrote a note and I said, and this is a bit of a joke, but I Google searched Jason Tatum today, and you want to see the photo that popped up? I was surprised.
What was the photo? Okay. Yeah, I've said it before. For Celtics fans that don't want to hear it, he's getting dangerously close, and unfortunately,
audience of holding up a photo of Carmelo Anthony.
Is Carmelo Anthony? They're not wrong. Offensively gifted talent, just retired in the NBA. They're not wrong. I've also seen, things that have come out saying that this is Damon and CJ 2.0. You got two incredible superstars, all-stars, all NBA players, and you can't do anything to show for it after 5-6 years. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I just want to show one last photo. So I told you I was at a concert.
Stop showing the damn show some photos when people are going to be listening to us tomorrow, not knowing what the hell you're showing them.
Podcast audience, I'm kidding. So I told you I was at the concert, right, on Sunday when their Game 3 was on. And you know how we talked last week about how do you know when the Celtics are doing bad?
Group text messages are going off.
I didn't check my phone once at the concert. I pull up my phone. I took a screenshot of this. This is what's on my phone. I don't know if,
oh man, over 100. Yep, that's
when you saw 104 messages on your phone, you know that the Celtics were not doing too good. I checked the score; they were down 20 at time. Like, oh god, yeah. I don't need to open that up.
The panic button has been hit, unfortunately.
It is a panic in the Celtics facility right now. I'll tell you that. But who knows? Hey, they could be the first team. I don't want to, if there is a team in basketball, we've only seen it once in professional sports, the Red Sox of Boston. If there is a basketball team and if there is a series to have a 3-0 comeback, this is probably the most likely 3-0 comeback because you have an extremely talented team versus an 8 seed. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying at some point in the history of time, there has to be a 3-0 comeback in basketball. There has to be at some point. And hey, why not us? On the flip side, we got to take the first 30 minutes of the show to just shit on the Celtics, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I feel good after holding that in all week.
There was definitely some relief. I'll feel you on that one.
Now it's time for me to come face my reckoning because I've been saying since day one of the playoffs. That's right, Jason. Why not the Celtics? But watch, they'll probably lose tonight. Since the play-in, I've been saying the Miami Heat is trash, and I still, even though they're about to go to the NBA Finals, I still believe that they are trash. I just think the Celtics are a dumpster if the Heat are trash. But I'll come to my day of reckoning, okay? And I have, when you go have a moment in life, it's like a really hard moment. You have to sit by a lake or something and contemplate everything that you've ever thought for hours. I had a moment like that when I was driving home on Sunday, and I was like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand. My mind cannot comprehend this Miami Heat team. They're bad, aren't they? Yeah, they're bad. But why do they keep winning? I'm so confused.
I don't understand why you keep saying they're bad.
Okay.
Like, you got it. I know I can't just say you have to get over it, but dog,
they're bad.
They are not bad, and they haven't been bad for months, and you just keep saying they're bad.
Let me get to my point about the Miami. If you look at their roster and you were to say, rank the teams based on their roster.
They're gonna be ranked last. Yes.
Can I finish my point
Go
about the
ahead.
Miami Heat? They are bad. Their roster is not good. However, I understand the Heat now. I finally understood who they are. We've had a heart-to-heart. Me, Pat Riley, Jimmy Butler. We've had a heart-to-heart. I understand them now. Unlike the Celtics, who have no identity, who don't know who they are, of all the teams outside the Denver Nuggets, the Miami Heat know exactly who they are, right? And this might be the biggest thing of them all. This might be the biggest reason why the Heat keep winning. Miami Heat, who are an 8 seed, in every single playoff series, everyone said this team is going to get their ass beat. They're not good. They're bums. This guy right here who's talking called them trash. And then I look at their roster. All right. And this is what it is to me, I think. Their starters, Max Strus, undrafted. Gabe Vincent, undrafted. Jimmy Butler didn't stay long-term in the Bulls. He was their second fiddle. Philly didn't want them. Get the hell out of here. You're trash. Bam Adebayo, late lottery pick. Duncan Robinson, undrafted. Highsmith, I don't even know who the hell you are. Cody, one of the Martin brothers, undrafted. Caleb. Kyle Lowry, you suck in the playoffs. Get out of Toronto. You're a bum. We don't want you. This entire team is made up of people who their entire basketball career have been told that they're not good enough, that they can't win, that they don't belong. And this team has these players are used to this position of being the underdog, of having to scrap, of having to fight every single second to just make in the NBA. And I think there's something to that in this position with Miami Heat because they are supreme underdogs. And if you put Jason Tatum in that position where he thinks he's the underdog, he would believe it. These guys, they play with zero fear, with zero thought of consequence, and they just play the game, balls to the wall, and have zero worry in their mind. Spo gives them the recipe, and they just cook. They're like a goddamn machine, right? They just do what they're told, they grind, and they take their shots with zero hesitation. And when you can see that on the court, when they're running their sets, it's just smooth, click, 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 because no one's thinking. They're just playing. They're not worried about the pressure because their entire life they've been told they're not good enough. So why the hell would they worry?
Yeah, I mean, you hit a lot of good points on that one. Appreciate the monologue. It made it easy for me to pay attention to how long and where you were going with it. I'm joking. All jokes aside. I mean, the biggest one was Gabe Vincent after Game 3 went on TNT and was talking to the post-game crew. And they said, how is it that you guys are still able to do these types of things? You're able to be up 3-0 on a team that is much more talented than you. And we understand you're out hustling them, as I just see a fast break dunk from one of the Martin brothers. Like, it's incredible. Strus, I mean, like, what they're doing and what Gabe Vincent explained was Jimmy is our superstar. He said it. Like, he said, Jimmy Butler is our superstar, but he knows that he needs us in order for him to perform. So he gives us the door to say, hey, you guys do you, and it'll allow me to do me. And like, he said it. He's like, Jimmy would be like, yo, you got the shot, take the shot. So I'm going to take it. And if I miss it, I'm going to look at Jimmy and he's like, you better take the next one. That is not like what every superstar does. And Jimmy Butler being, again, it was D Rose's team. When he went to Philly, it was Embiid's team. When he was in Minnesota, it was Cat's team. And for here, everybody was like, yo, it's your team. You lead us. And he's like, you got this. He's been the same dog since he was guarding LeBron in the conference finals in Chicago. Like, he went head to head against LeBron. And even with D Rose, like, Jimmy Butler was that rookie or that second-year player that everybody's like, yo, this dude's good. And he was passed along. So, like, yeah, you got some dogs on this team, and they're playing for each other. That's a bad recipe. The point that I wanted to actually think of, this team reminds me of both New York Giants teams that went to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots. They were dog shit, as you would call, quote unquote. They get to the playoffs and they're like, yo, we know what we're going to do. We're going to rush the quarterback and we're going to play great run defense. And what are these guys doing? They're stopping everybody on defense and they're playing fast transition offense. They know what they're doing each game.
Well, I think like I said, I think the biggest thing is like when you are expected to win, and you right off the bat you get punched in the mouth, and you're like, whoa, what was that? Like, I'm supposed to be the guy in charge, right? Because all 3 series, who took game 1? Miami.
Yeah.
Every single series they won so far. I mean,
Mhm.
not they haven't won the series, but you know what I mean. They took game 1 of the Celtics, and I just think the teams that were supposed to win the series, when they find themselves down, they start getting tight. They start thinking too much, and basketball, any sport, is boiled down to one thing, right? Muscle memory. You go to the gym, you practice your free throws, you become a machine. You don't even think about it. You take 1,000 free throws. Guys will probably shoot 90%. Like I'm saying, guys who shoot 70% of the line in game probably shoot 90% in the gym by themselves.
Facts.
When
Shaq
you
can hit like 10 for 10 threes. Just give you a heads up.
But when you get to the line in the game and you know there's pressure and you know that there's things in the line and you're supposed to be the team of winning and you're down right now, you have to have mental toughness. And this team, they get up, and the teams that should be winning, they're getting so tight. Celtics dribbling the ball off their foot in the game 2, game 3. But and it's because they shouldn't be losing, and it's just everything feels so tight. Like, I can't screw up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just the Heat are the perfect underdog for this playoffs because they have zero fear. They have an excellent coach having them clicking in all cylinders right now. And I'm not like, I'm trying to find a back way out of this. I still think this Heat team roster wise is not good. Like, if you took these guys and put them somewhere else, it wouldn't be the same.
Every single one of them are 7th or 8th men on another team.
Yes. But I think
except for Butler,
as a collective and how Spo has them playing, they're a good basketball team for this playoffs. I just don't think, like, will this happen next year? Probably not. But like, you've caught magic, right? You captured lightning in a bottle, and they just got to roll with it now.
Yeah, that's essentially it. I got not much else with the Heat. They're rolling, and we'll see how it goes for game 4. They're up 4 right now for those that are listening or watching with us live. And if you listen to us tomorrow, like, just know that they are winning at this point in the time of the game.
I just want to say one quick thing before I move off the Heat. Do I have anything else note-wise? I haven't done any. Blah, blah, blah. Just like fun fact. Do you know what the Heat's record is in this playoffs out of the play-in?
Outside of the play-in?
Yeah.
Not off the top of my head, no.
11-3. Insane. And
steamrolling.
I want to give a shout out across sports because Miami Heat about to go to the NBA Finals as an 8 seed. In hockey, the 8 seed Florida Panthers, that are a Miami team, are about to make the Stanley Cup Finals as an 8 seed. Since beating the Bruins and coming back 3-1, they've gone 10-1 since then. So like, both Miami teams as 8 seeds absolutely tore apart the playoffs and are about to make the finals for both sports. Crazy.
Southeast Florida in the last 3 months has been crazy. They had FIU in the March Madness tournament that ran deep. They had FAU, sorry. They had Miami, who made the Final Four. They have the Heat, and they have the Panthers. So
crazy, man.
Big shouts. They're not title town. I'm not ready to give them that title yet, but they had a hell of a 3 months. I'll give them that. They probably having some fun down there in South Beach.
And I know last thing is, like, I think the biggest thing for next series for the finals, if the Heat can find a way to steal game 1, watch the fuck out, right? Because if they can get that, punch them in the mouth early, and they have the momentum in the series, the Nuggets are in trouble. If the Nuggets win game 1, I am not worried. Nuggets are gonna.
Let's not jump ahead of the Nuggets yet.
Yeah. All right. Let's transition. So yeah, I think we're going to take a little different route this day. So like, I think we're going to try to take like little half times. If anyone's here that wants to, like, has a suggestions for topics, throw them out there. I don't know. I feel like we should try to take half times, like, in the show, like, and then we can cut back in for an actual like segment. I don't know.
This is different. Yeah.
I feel like if there's more people in the future, like, we can just like shoot the shit people for a minute. But sometimes I also feel like I can just like regather myself.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I appreciate you being here, Jay Allen, old school offensive lineman for us back at Dartmouth. Yeah, so I mean, big comment he had. So he threw in, as you guys know, I'm not the biggest Patriots fan. So like there are times that I will, throw in jabs when I can. And you're right. That was a nice little shot. Tried to have it hidden. But I do think if you're gonna have a comparison for
if it's the Giants,
Jimmy Butler is like OC Umenyior or Michael Strahan. Like he's the guy that is just tearing the other team apart. Probably Michael Strahan or like Justin Tuck, one of them. But like he's the guy that's like killing the other team. But essentially, I think that's how these guys are playing. And like nobody ever expected Eli to bring them to the Super Bowl, let alone win it twice. Same thing with this. There's a bunch of misfits as NBA players. I'm not saying that they're all bad. And most of the time, we have these comparisons saying like, this guy is a starter on 31 other teams in the NBA, just not here. That's why he's sixth man. Brogdon. The Heat is vice versa. We'll be like, these guys are maybe sixth or seventh men on every single team in the NBA, but they're starters on the Miami Heat. And they're one game away from making it to the NBA Finals. So it's just strange. It's fun to see this type of flip where we always talk about hard work. Sorry, what is it? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And this is literally the prime example of it right here.
Yeah. It's just baffling how this series turned out. I don't know, man. At this point, I feel like if I start believing in the Heat, they're gonna get their ass beat. So I'm just gonna keep saying they suck. But man, I can't believe that we're here. It's just crazy with both sports too. Like that's how we ended up. I think Jason, I think we talked about earlier, like we both believe Mazzulla could be a good coach, right? I think it's more of he needs a couple of years. He's younger than D. Like
you ain't gotta say it like that, bro. No, damn.
He's younger than D, and like he's gonna take some time to mature, but like the Celtics need to win now. And by the time that dude's ready to be a good coach, like who knows who's on the team for the Celtics at that point. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. I think they just need a veteran right now. I think if they fired Mazzulla, though, he'd get another job. Like, I wouldn't be worried about that.
I just hate the narrative of like I know it's coaching. It's just part of the way the league is run. I hate that like you give this man a contract. You give him less than 365 days to do something, and then you fire him for coming up short.
There has to be a reckoning for this. Like you can't get embarrassed this bad and nothing change.
But it is not coaching. I think you even said it, and I know we're going. I mean, this is part of like the random stuff that we're going to talk about. But like you said it off air in a chat that what we are looking at is the Brad Stevens Boston Celtics.
This is
and like,
is this worse? This is worse because I think Brad Stevens at least was a good play caller.
Yeah, maybe outside of a timeout or like the beginning of a third quarter, but like he wasn't doing these adjustments in the fourth quarter or making sure his team was ready for the game.
This was also a far more talented team than Brad Stevens.
Again, another point to make is the coach shouldn't be answering questions about getting his team ready for the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. What do you need your coach to fire you up for? You should just be up on gang. And wait a minute, hold on. Now that we're here,
we're lost.
So hold on. Yeah, we can go to the next topic after this. Now that we're here, I think one of the dumbest comments I have ever seen is both Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown having a microphone in front of them today saying, "Don't let us win this one." Dog, you had 3 chances to win one of them. What do you mean, don't let us win this one? Like, how are we here? How are we game 4? You got smoked in game 3 by 30 for you to sit there and be trying to pull out your best Boston Celtics analysis, Boston Red Sox, comparison. Hey, don't let us win this one.
Now we're going to try.
Yeah, like what? Like, if I'm a fan, I'm pissed. Like, what do you mean? Like, don't let you motherfuckers should have tried to win the first 3. So, now
the Heat aren't a team that's
yelled. I'm
like,
yelled at by the missus because the doors
I know you're
open.
Like all your children. And
I didn't want. Like I was trying to be calm, but like we got here, and like now I'm aggravated. So like let's get on something else because I'm a roast these Celtics
and like they stay on this. A team that you can like just be like, oh, maybe we'll win later. Like they're gonna try to slit your throat.
This is not, the Heat. They're not messing around.
No. All right, let's. You good, man? Take a deep breath.
I'm good.
I like how that was not part of the podcast recording. That's just you just going off on a goddamn tangent. I feel like that might be good though. It might be a good thing to attempt to like switch it up and like have a little bit of a break. All right,
Yeah.
I'm ready. Let's get, now that you're fired up, I'm going to play play a transition sounder, and we'll just act like we were just rolling in from the last segment.
I like it.
Yeah, so going from a team that's having the greatest fortune in the world, who, is about to sweep the Boston Celtics, facts. Let's talk about a team on the flip side that just got swept. It's official. Los Angeles Lakers. I'm not even going to preface it by saying anything, D. This is your team. Your heart goes out to this team. How you feeling today after that game?
So I'm actually relieved. I'm glad, as the late great Michael Jackson said, the storm is over. Like it's done and over with. The season has come to an end, and I can't get mad. I can't get frustrated. I can't be pissed. The Nuggets were just the better team. Like at the end of the day, when you get punched in the face by Mike Tyson and you're knocked out 30 seconds into the round, you really don't feel like getting up. You're like, I don't want to keep doing this. And like they had a great fight. They did what they could to try to stretch all of the games into late closings. There really wasn't a massive blowout in any of them. But we saw LeBron go all out. He played all minutes in the first half. He put up 38, and then he finished with 40. You know what I'm saying? He put up 38 in the first half and finished with 40 because he was gassed. It's just like that's.
I think he put 21 in the first half and 9 in the second half.
Sorry, that's. I know that it wasn't a lot. My apologies if the math.
No, you're
off.
good.
But I just know that he put in everything that he had, and it still didn't work, and that's okay. Like the team wasn't as good as the Denver Nuggets. And I said this to one of my coworkers earlier today. It's like I have that feeling that like TCU fans had when they faced Georgia, and it's like there's no leaning over the barrier crying. It's like no, them motherfuckers were just better than us, like 70-13 or whatever the score was. Like that's what the Nuggets did to the Lakers, and it's like they just kept beating on them. And at the end of the day, you look at it and go, hey man, they got out. Nobody was hurt. Nobody's injured long term. They're going to need to make some adjustments in the offseason.
I was infuriated. I'm not a Lakers fan, but I was infuriated on behalf of Lakers fans this morning. I had a group message with a bunch of Celtics fans. This is the first message I read this morning. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
9 points for the, quote, king in the second half. LOL fraud. That's the first message I got this morning, and that's coming from a fucking Celtics fan. That's rich. That is rich. I gotta give it a shout out to LeBron, because what he did in this, like not only last night playing all but 9 seconds. I think the only time he came off the court was when he ran off early.
He left early, yeah.
So like probably get IV fluids because he was dying. The man is 38 years old. He's older than D, which is crazy to think about.
His body is older than 38 for how long he's played.
And he played almost every second of that game, put up 40 points. I think he had like 9 assists, 8 rebounds, something like that, 2 steals. And I think he shot 60%. Like, that's incredible, man. And he had an incredible playoffs run. I think he scored about 20 points at least every game. This failure is absolutely not LeBron.
Are you frozen, or are you taking a long pause? I hope your internet didn't just cut out at this time frame.
Here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm going to stay positive right now. I don't want to be negative.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the Lakers, who were a 13 seed for the majority of the season, made it this far is an accomplishment in itself. They took down some good teams on the way to the Western Conference Finals, right? They should be proud of what they've accomplished. And like you said, they ran into an absolute juggernaut of a team right now, and a juggernaut of a player who's playing Giannis-esque. Like when Giannis won the title in 2021, he's playing at that level of like, I am the best player on the planet. I don't care what you do. So I just think we should just take a moment to like applaud the Lakers, and also for the Celtics fans who want to clown the Lakers. And again, I am not a Lakers fan. I get indignant people and fan bases are irrational. The Lakers, even though they got swept, those dudes fought every single game. They were in it to the very end. I think on every game of the series, they did not lay over and just die like the Celtics. So I just think this is a skill thing, right? The Lakers did not have the skill to match up, and it's the end of the season for them.
Yeah, less than I think 5 point differential, but in every game except for game 3, which I think it ended in free throws. So like that's how they played. They made it close. It's just they're not as good. So from here, I'm always going to be a Kobe over LeBron guy. Like that's my team. That's my guy. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant. But like LeBron did his thing. I give respect where respect is due, and he did as much as he could to carry the team. From here, I don't know the route of which the team is going to go. I really don't. That this is the first time in our lives. We've had the privilege of watching LeBron James play basketball for 20 years. This is the first time the retiring word came out. So hear me out. No, I mean it's something to think about. I don't think he's going to, but this is what happened with Brady, right? You have to start thinking about what the hell do we do as a team if he does. Anthony Davis is not carrying this team to an NBA Finals or even to a Western Conference Finals by himself. They don't have the draft capital to try to restart. They got a bunch of money tied up in some players that they're going to have to sign and trade. Like, I'm not signing D'Lo back. I'm not picking up Kyrie if LeBron goes. Like, a lot of questions for this team in the offseason.
Yeah, just before I get to my secondary thought, are you disappointed as a Lakers fan that AD was the guy that you guys targeted and got? Because the writing's on the wall with AD at this point. Like he was supposed to be the guy to come in and carry the torch. LeBron was not supposed to be the guy to get 40 points in game 4 to keep your season alive. AD was supposed to be that guy. LeBron was supposed to fade into the sunset as a secondary or third option facilitating, and this has not gone the way that the Lakers had planned.
It did. I beg to differ. They got one.
They won a championship, but like when LeBron leaves, they don't have the next guy to carry the team. They were hoping when they got AD, he would be the next generation, who came before Tim Duncan? I'm drawing a blank for
David Robinson
to Duncan, that sort of thing to carry the franchise and keep this going. And he's not that guy.
No, you're right. He's not, and I'm gonna give some credit to JA from the Northeast because he said this to me 4 years ago when I was talking about the rookie Lakers. The Lakers will always draw the target. The Lakers will always draw the star in free agency. The Buss family will pay whatever it needs to be paid to draw the star to their team. That's how they got Shaq. They drafted Kobe. That's how they got Powell. They traded for Dwight the second time around. Like, they will get stars in their prime just based off of their name. So I'm not too worried about that. And it's more so I think it worked. And I know that they say it at the in Avengers. What did it cost? Everything. It did. Like it cost everything for their future to get that championship in the bubble. And I'm happy for it. I was able to watch another championship, 6 since I've been a fan. So like I give teams usually 5 to 10 years of rebuild mode before you start to get aggravated. And that was the time frame I gave when, Kobe won the last one in 2011 and it got to 10 years and then his retirement. I was like, yo, what are we doing? And then LeBron came in and it reset that timer. So as an actual fan, I'm not worried because they'll figure out what they have to do. I just don't know what they're going to do at this very moment because LeBron poked about retiring.
All right, yeah, that was the second thing I want to get at. He's definitely not going to retire. I think it's one of those things where, man, you yourself have played many seasons of football, collegiate and high school. Man, at the end of some of those collegiate seasons, and your body hurts, and it's been a long, grueling season. You feel like shit. You just want to relax and not run around for a week. And this dude at 38, I think, was he 38, 39? He just went through a full NBA season. He hurt his foot. He had to rehab to get back for the playoffs. He's had to play almost the entire game for this entire series. The man's tired. He's grumpy, old man. You ask him after a crushing game 4 loss after they get swept if he's coming back next year, if he wants to play basketball. Nobody would want to play basketball after all that he's been through, right? So like give him a couple weeks away from the game. I'm sure he'll get antsy watching the finals, be like, oh man, I wish I was there. And he'll be ready to come back back next year. It's just hard to ask someone right after all that, like, hey, you going to come back? And he's like, man, I don't know right now. Maybe I'll retire. I don't know. I'm tired.
Yeah, again, I just see it as if he does, he does. I don't think he wants to go off into the sunset getting swept.
No.
But I also don't think he wants to go off into the sunset, unfortunately, like Kobe did, which is you're shooting up for 61 on your retirement game, missing the playoffs.
So there
So,
were, sorry.
no, you're good.
There were two avenues I wanted to go with just to finish up the Lakers. One you touched on already with the Kyrie thing. And, there's been rumors over the past year and a half that Kyrie to Lakers at some point. I've heard on podcasts, I like the Hoop Collective. It's a good one. And, one of the guys, Tim McMahon, he does the Mavericks. He's a Mavericks beat writer. And his take on it is there's a lot of optimism around the Mavericks that they will re-sign Kyrie. As far as the salary construct goes, the Lakers can only offer Kyrie about $32.5 million a year, even if they clear as much as they can, assuming they keep Austin Reeves and like clear out some of the other salary, right? The Mavs can offer him like 41, 42. So like Kyrie is would leave on the table about $30 to $40 million if he walked
4 years. Yeah.
The other potential option is if Kyrie says, I want to be out of here, and tells the Mavs he intends to sign with the Lakers, sign and trade me. At that point, the Lakers can go over the salary cap and trade some contracts. They'd probably have to trade a first round pick and package players. But if you're the Lakers at that point, you'd have to probably package D'Lo to go, which is fine. You'd probably have to send Rui Hachimura.
Yep.
You'd have to send guys like Bamba. You'd have to get rid of a couple other contracts. And what you would be left with is LeBron, AD, Kyrie. You would have Austin Reeves.
Maybe AR. Yep.
And then you'd have
maybe Malik Beasley.
No, I think Malik you wouldn't be able to re-sign him either. So like you'd have a bunch of maybe one mid-level exception and then minimum salary. I don't know if I feel comfortable as a Lakers fan with that because LeBron and AD will miss time, and probably Kyrie because he's also injury prone. It's a very thin roster. If they can survive to the playoffs, that's fine. Maybe they'll be good as a 3. But we've seen in the past, in my opinion, with some of these very top-heavy teams that are 3 superstars, it's very hard, right, if you have no depth. I don't know if that's the right move for the Lakers. There's a couple of avenues if they wanted to acquire Kyrie. Like, I don't know if you like either of them.
I don't like Kyrie on the Lakers. He's a organization killer. He has been. He's left every team that he's played since the shot in Cleveland in shambles, or at least, wishing that they didn't have him on the team. So I don't want him on the Lakers. I don't care what it costs. There are other talents out there that I believe you could get more value out of because, like you had mentioned, this is very important information. LeBron is going to miss time at 39 to 40 years old. Anthony Davis is going to miss time because he's just going to miss time.
20 games a year, just count it in.
Yeah, just like automatically chalk that in that he's going to miss 30% of the season. Like it's just going to happen.
Yep.
Kyrie Irving for the past
gets hurt
3 years, 4 years, has either gotten hurt or had some reason as to why he's missing games. Suspension, personal time off. Dude wants to take PTO in the NBA. I don't understand it, but he gets away with it. Great. He's a great talent. But so that's, like you said, 3 people that you're expected to miss 20 to 25 games. I love Austin Reeves and what he has become.
He'll be a Laker, by the way, next year.
I get that. But what I'm saying is he's not the guy that's going to get them where they need to go if those guys are missing time.
No.
And you can't hand the keys over to AR-15 respectfully. So, I don't think getting a Kyrie Irving solves their problems of getting through the Nuggets, getting through the Suns, who's going to come back stronger than ever next year with a full year of KD. I don't think it's going to be enough firepower to get through the Grizzlies, depending on what happens with Ja and his potential suspension. I would rather get either an established younger player, or you just ride this shit out again next season, and hopefully you can get these draft picks to try to accumulate to something in the future.
And before I get to my last thing about the Lakers, I did hear something today that I think you would like about the Austin Reeves situation. Something about him coming off of that rookie contract and essentially because of he hasn't played as much time, there's a cap at what teams can offer him. He's a restricted free agent. So the Lakers will probably be able to re-sign him back at like 12 million-ish, which is a pretty good value considering what he can bring to that team. I think if he was fully open market, he'd probably fetch like 20-ish.
Yep.
So that'll be a good contract for the Lakers next year, hopefully moving forward for your sake. The last thing I want to touch on, we talked about a lot of these names already. We applauded the Lakers for the moves they made at the deadline to improve the roster and make a run.
Mm-hmm.
Game 4 of this series versus Denver, I want to read this off to you. DNP, Vanderbilt. DNP, Beasley. DNP, Bamba. D'Angelo Russell, 15 minutes. Rui Hachimura, 42 minutes. 3 of those 5 guys you traded for didn't play. One of them played 15 minutes, and then one of them, Rui, was a significant contributor. He wasn't great though. 3 for 12. Do you feel like that trade was a failure in retrospect? Just because when it came down, as the season progressed, a lot of these guys found their way out of the rotation, and then a lot of these guys are probably going to walk now. Like they don't have the value that you were hoping for long term, right? Because I don't think you're re-signing Bamba. He's a free agent this year. Vanderbilt, they might ship him out this year. I don't think they're going to want D'Lo long term. I don't know if he's a free agent after this year. The one guy that you're probably happy with as a Lakers fan, which I was wrong. Like Rui was bad in Washington, but he's obviously turned it around now in the Lakers. It's a bummer for you, but it just doesn't seem like it panned out long term the way you were hoping it would.
I'm not going to consider it a failure because hope is a real thing. And that trade, I'm going to get to that one too. I think that trade gave the Lakers hope. There was no, we're making it to, 4 games away from the NBA Finals in the beginning of February. I was sitting here saying, they're always going to be a play-in team. I think I give them a 6 seed, which is not play-in. I think I said 6 seed when we did our podcast at the beginning of the season.
You did.
And it like dropped them lower because of injuries and whatnot. So I think you gave the team hope by doing the trade, and to get where they got to, taking out the teams they took out. They took out Memphis, they took out Golden State, and they went toe to toe with Memphis. They just didn't win. So like at the end of the day, I don't think it's a failure, because if they'd have kept Westbrook and the contract, they would have never even gotten to this position in the first place. They would have been either bounced in the play-in, or they just would have never made the play-in. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I think to get to this point, Jay Allen, it's a great question. I wrote down some information that I would be happy with if this was the starting rotation. And you're going to be like, whoa, on this one. I promise you. I think they don't go after Kyrie Irving. I think you set your target on signing a Fred VanVleet. You have him run your point. You have either Rui or Reeves, because they're going to be able to come back, because you're not trading for Kyrie. You got some cap money on that end. You got LeBron, you got AD, and you got Mason Plumlee. A decent action. Listen to me. You have a rebounding, defending big that takes responsibility of AD being in the paint. AD thrived when they had Dwight Howard because he got to play the 4. You laugh, you joke, but I'm talking facts here. Like, we're taking AD away from being the 5 and having the responsibility of offense and defensive, like I would say, dominance. And yes, I'm saying, but if you don't think Mason Plumlee or it's Mason, not Miles. If you don't think Mason Plumlee is a huge factor to the Clippers' success, like, you're bugging. He's an incredible talent. I'll say this. He's a good, talented big, and he would take responsibility off in the interior defensive area and rebounding for AD. You can't go into the season and have AD be your 5. But hey, man, that's a lineup for me. I'm not gonna give you a lineup and say, yeah, I think we can sign Fred VanVleet. I think we can sign Kyrie. I think we can sign the best big. We can get Draymond. That's unrealistic. I gave you a starting 5 that I think they can run a solid Western Conference next year.
My counter to that, just look at this goofy motherfucker.
Go ahead, bro.
Look
Do your
at him.
thing. You
Look
can
at him.
clown. You
Look
can
at
clown,
him.
but I
Look
think
at him.
what I say is definitely
I
a
will say,
potential lineup for this team next year.
no, all joking aside, I think that's a very reasonable list. I do think Fred VanVleet is absolutely going to be on the radar for the Lakers, and I think it's a very manageable, doable thing. If he's looking for like $31 million, then it works. Yeah.
No Dame.
Jason mentioned
love Dame.
They don't have
the depth.
They don't have the I don't know if they have the
Assets.
cap flexibility, the assets. It's just not feasible. I think what you said is feasible. I think there's a good chance they could get Fred VanVleet. The only counter I would say is there are definitely teams out there that are bad with a lot of money.
Yes.
The Orlando Magic definitely have their eyes set on Fred VanVleet, and they will have the money to spend. So maybe the Lakers can offer $30 million for 4 years or 3 years. I'm sure a team like the Magic could be like, "Yep, 34. I'm over here." And
this is where I think I said it a couple minutes ago.
Yeah,
the prestige of LA, and that's not even a shot at Orlando. Just think of it. You get a chance to be a potential contender in LA.
It depends what
he values. The Orlando, he's already got a ring, which is why I think that
want the money. Would he prefer more money or the lifestyle? What do you about?
Right. Yeah, so no on Dame. You heard me here say this. I love Damian Lillard. Trust me. If this were 5 years ago and AD wasn't as injury prone as he is, then I would say do anything and everything you can to get Dame. But you can't do that. You can't have him because as incredible as an offensive talent as he is, it's going to cost you a lot to get him, and it's just not worth it right now.
And when you have Plumlee, you're definitely winning the championship. You would think that we have the Nuggets last because they say save the best for last, the best team. It was just because we didn't really have much interesting to say about the Nuggets. They're just really good. They don't have a ton to discuss about them because they've been so dominant, and we know why. Jokic, Murray, Murray is. I feel like it's an insult to say bubble Murray. That is who Jamal Murray is. He's had a whole season to get back and get right. He's playing like a top 20, 15 player in the NBA, and Jokic is playing number one.
Yeah, I was wrong. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was wrong. I come on this show and I say a lot of random stuff. I have a lot of random takes and heated, emotional, I would say concepts of what I think is going to happen. I was wrong about Jamal Murray because Trudeau, you said at the beginning of the season, you said, no, he's going to come back and he's going to be really good. And I was like, man, off of an ACL, I don't know. People usually ain't the same. And this brother is bad right now. He was, I hated seeing it, but again, I respect the competitiveness. This dude was laughing at everybody that was trying to play defense on him. He was like, oh, you going to send Rui at me? Give me the ball. Oh, wait a minute. You going to put Beasley on me? Give me the ball. Schroeder, you think you can do this? Hey, give me the ball. And it's just I respect, that is a different mentality, right? And he's doing better than he did in the bubble. So I'm not going to disrespect him and call him Bubble Murray. I think he's just this guy. And I think Ty said it, Ty streams. I know he's not here today, but he said it off air to me. He said, them Kentucky boys have been balling in the playoffs. And it's Jamal Murray. We saw the kid from Sacramento do his thing, De'Aaron Fox, and there was another dude from Kentucky that they have something in them right now that's making them be really good 3-4 years removed from college. So kudos to Jamal Murray. He deserves the flowers that I should be giving him for saying that he was going to be bad this season.
And Jason, I see your question. I have a great place for that after this conversation. So we'll put that little question. We'll put it to the side. I'm bringing that back. So stick around.
Good question.
We'll come right back to that. I just had two things I want to say in the Nuggets. Number one, I'm an Orlando Magic fan, and I'm super happy for Aaron Gordon. I think that trade was fantastic for both the Magic and Nuggets. We got some draft capital. Aaron Gordon, he has never been a superstar level player. He wasn't the guy we hoped to get, but he's the perfect just accessory for the Nuggets. So I'm happy for him. But the bigger conversation I wanted to have was this Jokic run, dude. I'm having like the craziest 3-year flashback between the Jokic run and the run that Giannis had, where Giannis went back-to-back MVP. The conversation around year 3 with Giannis was, this dude hasn't won in the playoffs. He's not an NBA champion. How can you give him 3 MVPs in a row? Blah, 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 blah. This year, Jokic is going for his 3rd MVP. All the narrative by the sports talk. Well, he's not good in the playoffs. Like, is he really that good? Like, 3-time MVP, you have to be legendary. Like, he's going to have a ring. Look what he's doing now. He is going. This is one of the most unstoppable runs I've ever seen, outside of personally like some of the LeBron runs, the Giannis run when he won the championship, and he is in the NBA Finals. And if he wins a ring this year, dude, all of that narrative is just completely wiped away. And we said it several weeks back. Who needed this run the most? We both agreed, Jokic, and I think we're seeing this come to fruition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in total agreement with you. Joker is just a bad man. Like, some of the shots that he hit against LA, I just threw up my arms, just like, I mean, he's having his Steph Curry moment without having the pretty face, right? Like that, the baby faced assassin is what they call him. I ain't saying that the man ain't attractive, whatever. No pause. I don't care what people say.
Those fat babies with a lot of rolls. One of those.
Like, will you see those? I know we're gonna go off topic, but like, you see those like things on like NBA history, and they're like, oh, when Steph Curry was 5, and they'll show like a picture of him as a baby, and like LeBron as a baby, and then Jimmy Butler as a baby. And they show Jokic, and it's like when he's a teenager, because of like in South Korea, we don't take pictures as kids. So like he just doesn't care. He's just like a baller. Yeah, he's just a baller. So the man is really unbelievably talented. I wrote down some notes saying like, who is the MVP on the Nuggets right now? Is it Jokic or is it Jamal? I don't know. I think they're both pretty. I would say hand in hand. I think Jokic is showing that he's the best player in the world right now, which is, who'd have thought that, right? Like, he put up the statistical numbers, but now he's putting it together with, now his team's in the finals. You still got to win it, right? But like, he got over the mold that a lot of these players didn't. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and I know you want to get onto the note, Carmelo Anthony. Put up a bunch of numbers, but they never got their team. They didn't get their team to the finals.
Save the Carmelo for after, because I was going to go closing take, a little Carmelo. So
okay. Damn, bro. Close the take. Let's get it.
All right. And just the only thing I would be worried about in the finals, because I know we want to get to the last segment, and I'm going to get to Jason's question. I do think the Heat have better depth. The Nuggets have been playing 7. In like their 7th guy's Jeff Green 10 minutes. Like, they don't really trust the guys down the roster. If you look at the minutes in Game 4 against the Lakers, super tilted toward the starting lineup. Everyone played 40 minutes except for KCP, who played 39. So like, that could bite them in the butt. But again, they have a long layoff. Hopefully, I think the final starts in like 10 days, so they will have a long layoff. So they should have fresh legs. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to the finals. And seeing like what unstoppable force gives up.
Yeah, it's the impenetrable defense or the unstoppable offense, essentially, is what's going to happen if the Heat can hold on.
Spoiler alert, they definitely will. All right, D, it's that time of the day. Closing takes. If you're new to the proceedings, basically, we have kind of like we don't have like predetermined what we're going to say, but like, we have general topics. Closing takes is like YOLO. ISO, go wherever you want. So it's our time to shine. Let's get after it.
The show is coming to an end. But first, it's time to get to anything we've missed. It's closing time. 1 segment, 2 takes. Now go.
All right, I wanted to go first today. I just wrote down Carmelo Anthony retires, because it's a guy that's kind of polarizing the NBA. I kind of want to just like take a second to acknowledge his career. And this is why I was like, oh, Jason's question is perfect because I wanted to start Carmelo. Before we actually get into the debate, maybe tear down Carmelo, I wanted a second to just like appreciate his greatness. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know he's like the 9th leading scorer all time NBA history, which is wildly impressive. I know he never had like the playoff success. He wasn't the quote unquote winner guy, but I remember when I first started playing basketball, right? My favorite thing to do, like I would just, buy yourself open gym is I think Carmelo, I think of the triple threat offense where you got the ball, you haven't put the dribble, you pump, up, pump. Like I can go back to the basket, I can pump. He was just a really fun player to watch, super deadly mid-range. Obviously, that didn't age well as we went towards analytics and shot efficiency, but I just think we should appreciate how fun he was and, eulogize him in a positive manner. That's all.
Yeah, man, the offensive god, right? Like he had a bag. The boy put small forwards and power forwards on the map for being athletically gifted to get to the hole, pull up and shoot the three, be in the post, because if you ended up switching on him, he was backing you down and bullying you. And he played decent defense. He played hustle defense. I'm not gonna say he was out there blocking shots, but he was giving it his all against matchups like LeBron James, against Dwayne Wade, against Kobe Bryant. So like he battled, and Hoodie Melo will be missed. Big shouts to him for what he was able to do in open gym, throwing on the hood, and he gave the Lakers a great run when he was out there. So I appreciate him. And where would his career have gone if the Pistons didn't stupidly draft Darko Milicic and they drafted him instead?
I feel like I'm not properly eulogizing him without doing the hoodie.
Yeah, man, Hoodie Melo for the win. But yeah, man, like big props to him. It sucks that he's gonna retire, that he's retiring. I know he's been out of the league for a year or two anyway, but good for him. I'm glad that he'll be I won't say first ballot Hall of Famer, but he'll definitely make it.
Ballot.
I don't think he was going to be
NBA Hall of Fame. Everyone gets in. I'll get in the Hall of Fame.
Not really. NBA. I mean, I know Ben Wallace got in, but like, I don't think they just let everybody in. I think they go through a process. But yeah, go ahead, get yours.
No, so this is a good time for Jason's question because we just eulogized him in a very positive light. Jason asked in the chat, who is the best Nuggets number 15? Carmelo Anthony or Nikola Jokic? I mean, come on, man. Are you serious? That's Jokic, 2-time MVP, about to win a championship. Joker. If they have to retire number 15, it's going to be Nikola Jokic because of the way Carmelo deuced on out of there and getting to New York.
Yeah, it's definitely New York.
His number is going to be the Knicks.
Yes, yeah, I'm in agreement with that because that was the thing that was on Bleacher Report today. Like, do you retire Melos or do you retire Jokic? And I was like, Melo got them to the Western Conference Finals, but he didn't really do much. Like, he had more of an impact when he was in New York because he was trying to revitalize a culture. But Denver, he had a couple flashy dunks and some good matchups in the West, but he didn't get them over the hump.
Yeah, I don't remember how contentious it was when he left, but I know that he wanted out, and I don't know how much they wanted him out. I don't remember that in detail. All right, D, what do you have for your last thing of the day?
I'm going to stick to the basketball theme, but because we always like to go the opposite side, I'm going to go WNBA. Big shouts to Brittany Griner. I don't know if you were able to watch it, but there's something about women's basketball that just catches me watching it more and more. Go ahead, what's up?
No, you know what I do love about women's basketball?
What's that?
I love the basketball itself, the multicolor, because when they shoot, you
can see the spinning.
The colors spinning. I think that looks just mesmerizing.
It's like college football. I think about that because the football has stripes. So like it looks when you see a deep ball pass from Justin Fields throwing it 60 yards in the air,
looks clean.
Yeah, it's fresh. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. Except for when they shoot it off rotation and the ball spinning like this way. And I'm like, ugh, that looks disgusting. But big shouts to Brittany Griner, first home game with the Phoenix Mercury over the weekend. I was able to watch a lot of that game and she dominated 27, 10, and 4 of them being blocks. And she's great impact. They did lose 79-16 to the, I want to say, I can't even remember the team name, but they don't have an S at the end of it.
You were watching very, very intently, I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of her shots. I saw her hit a step back 3 and just say, I'm back. And I was just like, oh, okay. Okay, girl, do you, baby? So
Sky?
yeah, I know, huh?
Was it the Sky?
Yes, I know. I said it was a team that didn't have an S at the end of it. So I knew that much essentially. But yeah, big shouts to her getting back into the WNBA. We all love a success story. It sucks that she was away where she was in the situation she was there for. So I'm glad that she was able to get back playing professional basketball for the United States. And let's see, like I said, I'm going to be watching a lot more. I watched a little bit of the draft. Like I watched the draft lottery for the WNBA. It's because of the two demons upstairs that are sleeping. But like it's where I'm gonna go in life is start to migrate more towards women's basketball.
I am totally pulling us away from the show. I'm gonna devolve this into a personal conversation between me and you, which is fine.
Okay, yeah. This is a wrap up anyway.
I thought after because we have a 2K franchise, me and D right now, and I'm like, oh man, you could pick WNBA franchises. We should have done a 2K WNBA franchise. How dope would have that been?
That would have been miserable. Cut it out. No. I'm not, because I don't know
Mr.
enough.
Championing the WNBA is like, nah, actually, I don't want to do that. I got
because I don't know anybody. I know a few players, but like in 2 years, when them girls from LSU get out there, then maybe I'll watch even more WNBA. But like, look, the WNBA gained a fan if I'm watching at least one game a week, because 3 years ago, I wasn't watching one game a season. I wasn't watching one game every 5 seasons. So, like, where I'm at right now, I think it's a positive.
Do you have a team close to you that you can take the girls?
No, we don't.
That's too bad.
Unfortunately.
Maybe one day when they expand.
Let's hope, man.
All right, D. It's been a good show. A lot of basketball. I had a fun time talking. I mostly enjoyed shitting on the Celtics, so I got that off my chest. Get us out of here, right, my man?
Oh man, let me stretch out on this one. Again, we appreciate you guys being here, especially for the Facebook viewers today. There's a lot more Facebook than we typically have. So thank you all for being here. Again, hit us up on all of our socials. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got YouTube. You can hit us up on our podcast, Apple, Spotify. Anything that you can find the podcast on, you can find us there. We go live on Tuesday nights. We got the wrap-ups on Wednesday mornings. As we say when we're heading out of here, please, y'all be safe. Take care of y'all mentals. Y'all take care of y'all physicals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all chicken, y'all children. Peace. We love y'all. I'll catch you on the flip.
Peace. You still got to tell me about what the hell that chicken is.
You'll figure it out one of these days.
One of these days when I grow up.